Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasa Gocharam Atmanam Akhiladharam Ashraye Bhishta Siddhaye Arthato Pyadvayanandan Ati Tadvaita Bhanatah Guruna Radhya Vedanta Saram Vakshe Yathamati. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan mentions different type of tapasya. Bhagwan says there can be tapasya at physical body level. Cleanliness, for example, he says, is tapasya at physical body level. There can be tapasya at speech level. There can be tapasya at mind level. The result of this tapasya is it instills a sense of purity in this sadhaka. Any tapasya for that matter, whenever we are able to hold back ourselves and think in line of Shastra, in line of Dharma, that tapasya will leave this individual, leave this sadhaka purified. Just like there is Shariraka tapas, Vachika tapas, Manasa tapas, meaning tapasya at body, speech and mind level. There is also one tapasya called as Jnanatapas. Jnanatapas. What do I have to do in Jnanatapas? The main tapasya in Jnanam is Mahavakya Vichara. Just like other tapasya left us pure, left us sadhaka more pure, this is that tapasya which will leave that sadhaka in the purest of the form. If all upadhis are negated, what remains is that Shuddha Chaitanya. If we appreciate that, then our reflection on Mahavakya, our commitment will increase and it will become a meaningful exercise. In 4th chapter, Bhagavan said mentioned one point. It's going to come now in the next Bhagavad Gita class. Bhagavan said, Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha manmaya mam upashritaha. Arjuna is asking, Bhagavan, has anybody actually accomplished this? You are saying that through jnanam you will get moksha. Is there somebody who has actually become free from all conditionings, all limitations through jnanam? Bhagavan says yes. Who are those people? Vitaraga bhaya krodha. Those who are able to not come under the sway of raga and anger and fear. Raga bhaya krodha. Raga, first attachment they let go of, and fear and anger was easy to handle. So that sadhana they have done. But second word is important. Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha manmayaha. To open up the word manmaya, Madhusudana Saraswati ji writes, those who have done Mahavakya Vichara. Manmaya, there he doesn't say those who have put their mind in Bhagwan Krishna. And who is saying this? Madhusudana Saraswati ji, who himself is a great devotee of the Lord. This is Manmayaha means their mind has been understood of the nature of consciousness. Through Mahavakya Vichara, they have dissolved this mind into its substratum. We saw Laya Prakriya, right? Mind dissolves into Ajnanam. Ajnanam dissolves into that consciousness. Those who are able to do this, they are Manmayaha. And Mam Upashrita is a beautiful word he has opened. He says, those who are able to take support of Jnanam in living their everyday life, they are Mam Upashritaha. Manmayaha means they have done Mahavakya Vichara, and the knowledge which came out of that Vichara, any challenge comes in front of them, they will do different things to take care of at Paristhiti level, at mind level. But final refuge is again in that Jnana. What I am trying to solve is not there in the first place. So Jagat Mithyatva also goes together. And I alone am appearing as this creation. So that is Mamupashrita. So who are those people who have done this? Bhagavan says, second line, Bahavo JnanTapasa. There are many people like this. Bahavaha. What tapasya did they do? JnanTapasya. That was the main word. JnanTapas. Just like we have other tapas, Jnanam also becomes a tapas. Putaha madbhava magataha. Purified by this JnanTapas, all of them have safely reached me. So where is Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji? Where is Raman Maharshi ji? Where is Puja Gurudev? All of them are safely here. Having gone where there is nothing remaining to be done, and there is no coming and going from there. That is this Shuddha Chaitanya. So same Mahavakya Vichara in Vedanta Saar we are doing right now. Between the padas, there was Samana Adhikarana. The two words are indicating the same locus. Although they are by themselves mean different things, but they are indicating the same locus. Tat also represents that Chaitanya, and Tvam also represents the same Chaitanya. The example was Soyam Devadatta. Between Saha and Ayam, there is Samana Adhikarana that is pointing out at that same Devadatta. Then between the Padartha, the meaning of the words, there was Visheshana Vishesha Bhava Sambandha. One was the qualifier, another became the qualified. So this, when we try to apply in a general way, like how we apply it for Blue Lotus, we concluded that Visheshana Vishesha Bhava is not possible. If at all you apply like in Soyam Devadatta case, Visheshanas will cancel out each other and indicate that Vastu. Again, you'll have to go to the third step, which is lakshanas. But Visheshana Vishesha Bhava, if you apply it like Blue Lotus, Tat will become Visheshana for Tvam. So Sarvajñatva will become Visheshana for Alpajña Jiva. What example did we see? Sarvajña Devadatta searching for his car keys. He is Sarvajña also, but he is having all that Alpajñatva also. Alpajñatva means he doesn't know things of this world itself. What to talk about, which karma done in which place has what kind of power, and which karma phala should go to which jiva. So none of that can become the qualifier for Alpajña Jiva. Then other option was Alpajña Jiva becoming qualifier for Ishvara. So whatever samsara is there in Jiva, that becomes the qualification for Ishvara. He says that is also not possible. Alpajña cannot qualify Sarvajña Ishvara. Alpa Shaktiman need not qualify Sarva Shaktiman Bhagavan. So Visheshana Vishesha Bhava is not possible. Then we came to the third one, which was Lakshana Sambandha, only definition we saw, where from both the words we let go of contradictory entities. Contradictory parts we let go of, and whatever remains after doing that, that is this Satchidananda Vastu. An important point there was, why did we let go of those contradictory parts? Because they were Vivarta. Vivarta means what? There was no real modification that happened when these conditionings came about. Everything, all the conditionings have come from consciousness alone. If it had really emerged, consciousness had modified and become something else, then you can say there is a vikara. Then this question would come, how can you negate it? Right? For example, if there is a real snake, and you keep saying that negate that snake, negate that snake. Even if there is a rope kept next to it, you will ask this question, how can I negate it? But if there is no snake, there is only rope, I thought there is a snake, then only negation is required. Because that snake is vivarta, I can negate and come to that rope. In the same way, because conditionings are vivarta, I can negate those conditionings from both the padas and come to Shuddha Chaitanya. This is what we had seen. And one sadhana pointer also we saw, that when we do this bhaga tyaga, viruddhamsha tyaga, it's a long journey. See, finally what we have to do is do tyaga of this upadhi. Tyaga means, you can say, we have to negate this upadhi. We don't have to take it and put it anywhere. Right? We cannot also. To understand that this body, mind, intellect, everything is nothing but an appearance in this consciousness, and there are two different degrees of reality. But before we do tyaga of upadhi, we have to do tyaga of kamya and nishiddha from this upadhi. Before I let go of that upadhi itself, Swamiji said in the beginning, Adhikari Lakshana, kamya nishiddha varjana purassaram. These are all some hints for quiz questions. They might come, you never know. Kamya nishiddha varjana purassaram. So first, that sadhaka let go of kamya karma, nishiddha karma. And this is where we saw, whatever is Brahma Lakshana, that should get reflected in our Vyavahara. If Brahma is Shuddha, my Vyavahara should be free from Ashuddhi. If Brahma is Adhara Swarupa, then our Swabhava should indicate that quality of being a support in each and every transaction. So like this, you take every Brahma Lakshana, it will give some indicator for Vyavaharik Sadhana. When that purification is done, the next step, which is also very important, is to do tyaga of that upadhi itself. First part was to do tyaga of erroneous things in this upadhi. Then the final thing is to understand that I am not even this upadhi. It's not a very great thing to stay in proximity with what we are not. Sometimes you feel, what is wrong? I can have a pure mind, have a pure upadhi, and stay with it. Why don't we stop our journey at that point? Vedanta says it's only a matter of time that if these upadhis are not negated, if these upadhis are not negated as mithya, and the sadhaka has firmly, if he has not abided in that truth, only a matter of time it will go back again. Same colors will come back, same desires will come back. And not only that, these desires will push us into future births. Bauddha Darshana, this is what we had seen. Right? Bhagavan said, what is the cause of sorrow? Starts from this, avidya. that bringing desires, desire bringing actions, actions bringing results. So if I have to free myself from this cycle of samsara, then the fundamental thing is let go of this upadhis. In Upanishad we had seen this. Pretyasmat lokat amruta bhavanti. Asmat lokat pretya means this karana kalapa, from these conditionings which are there, the assemblage which is there, this sadhaka has gotten up from that. Means he has negated his own upadhis. So that is what we had seen in the last session, until the last session for Mahavakya Vichara. Now we have seen Samanadikaranya, we have seen Visheshana Vishesha Bhava. Now we come to Lakshana Bhava. Before that, there is one shloka here. This says it's from Panchadashi, but actually it's from Vakya Vritti, which is quoted in Panchadashi. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji wrote Vakya Vritti before, right? Panchadashi. 158. Taduktam samsargo va vishishto va vakyartho natra sammatah akhandaikara satvena vakyartho vidusham matah. So vakyartha, when you take, you can bring the meaning in two ways. One is through samsarga, another is through visheshana vishesha bhava. In samsarga we saw two types, bheda samsarga and abheda samsarga. So Tattvamasi Mahavakya is bheda or abheda? Abheda samsarga vakya. So here when it is said samsargo va vishishto va, so this samsarga refers to bheda samsarga. You cannot derive the meaning of vachyartha through bheda samsarga. And also vishishta. Vishishta means visheshana vishesha bhava. Vakyartha na atra sammatah. Vakyartha cannot work over here. Akhandaika rasatvena. Only by understanding the meaning as akhanda eka rasa. That is the only way we can derive this meaning of Mahavakya. Vakyartha vidusham matah. From that Vachyartha we should go to Lakshana and then get this Akhandaika rasa artha. This is one rule while they evaluate this Mahavakya or any sentence for that matter, not only Mahavakya. If the literal meaning gives you, or if literal meaning makes sense, one doesn't need to take implied meaning. If it's a simple thing, literal meaning only is giving the perspective, you don't have to take implied meaning. Now, for example, if you say, can you please get me a glass of water? Can you please get me a glass of water? Now, what knowledge should take place? It is asking for a glass of water, let me go and get a glass of water. But now you start thinking, I have studied Ishavasya Upanishad. There, apaha, water means karma. Tasmin napo matarishva dadati. Means Bhagwan gives water to all jivas. The water, apaha word there is for karma. So now this sadhaka starts thinking, oh, maybe he's asking that go and do a lot of karma yoga, go and do some kind of karma. You see how, things look very strange. If literal meaning is giving you the perspective, you don't have to take another implied meaning of it. So here also, if Tattvamasi had given us the meaning through Vachyartha, one doesn't need to go to Lakshartha. But we tried Abheda Samsarga, that did not give the meaning. Or we tried Bheda Samsarga, it did not give the meaning. Then we tried Visheshana Vishesha Bhava. That also did not give the meaning. All that we are left with is, they are Samana Pada. Both are indicating the same thing. Samanadikaranya we could understand. Visheshana Vishesha Bhava did not give us the meaning. Now we go to Lakshanas. Now within Lakshanas, there are three lakshanas. So one is called as jahat lakshana, second is called as ajahat lakshana, third is called as jahat, ajahat, lakshana. All three will be elaborated, examples will be given. The main thing that is to be proved here is jahat lakshana will not work, ajahat also will not work, jahad ajahal is the only one that will work. Okay, it's a very beautiful portion and very nice, just to see how this Mahavakya is analyzed. I will not give a summary in the beginning because it's very elaborate. So when we see that each lakshana only, we will see the meaning. Okay, 159. Atra gangayam ghoshah atra prativasati iti vakyavate jahallakshanapi na sangacchate iti vakyavat jahallakshana. Shutva sandhi. Ta becomes ja. Sanskrit students can find a lot of sandhis here. It's nice, once you see the rule and then you see that getting used here. Now Jahallakshana, first let us appreciate in our colloquial terms, our day-to-day life. Jahat means what? A statement is made and literally if you listen to that statement, it doesn't make sense. So you let go of the meaning of one word completely, then you take something which is related to it. You take something which is related to it, and then you can just make sense of that statement. Literally, if you take it, that statement doesn't make sense. You take some other meaning, completely different meaning. That is why jahati. Ha means to give up. Jahat lakshana means that lakshana in which you have to give up something completely. Jahat lakshana means ha dhatu is there. That lakshana in which you let go of one word completely, that is called as jahat lakshana. Some examples, what we use in our everyday vocabulary also. You say, where is your house? My house is on the street. House is on the street. Now you say, street cars go. How can your house be on the street? Right? Now we don't ask that question. We in our mind only let go of the word street and say it is in that plot which is next to the street. We have let go of that street completely, but we have taken the adjacent plot. We cannot say house is on the beach. Right? It could be, but it is not sambandhi. It is not related to each other. You have to take sambandhi also, and you have to let go of something completely. Third criteria in Jahat Lakshana is that word should not have been used in the sentence. Plot word is not used in the sentence, my house is on the street. If it is already used, then you don't need to, or you cannot bring that same word. My house is on the street, that plot word is not used. It is ashruta. It is not heard. The reason I am introducing this is there is a Purva Paksha that is going to come. If you appreciate this point, that Purva Paksha becomes easy. Whatever you are bringing to add, whatever you are replacing, it should be sambandhi, no doubt. But it should be something which is not said in that statement. It is not said in the statement. So there are three things, Jahat Lakshana. One is you have to give up something. Whatever you are giving up, that's of that you have to bring something which is related to it. And that thing which you are bringing should not have been already mentioned in that statement. Three things for Jahat Lakshana. And we keep using Jahat Lakshana in other places also. You call somebody and say, where are you? You say, I'm sitting on my computer. I'm sitting on my computer. Now we don't say, how can you sit on your computer? right? We take computer, okay? What is the sambandhi of that? Chair, which is adjacent. Adjacent chair. So you let go of computer and you bring chair in. And the chair is not used in that statement. If he directly says, I'm sitting on the chair, then Vachyartha itself can give you the meaning. Because he has not used that word, this Lakshana comes where this word is used. Some things are also, our Vyavahara becomes very humorous, because of this Jahat Lakshana. You must have seen this phrase or heard this phrase, I'm good. I'm good. Means if you are serving somebody and you say, can I give more? Now this person says, I'm good. So what is the meaning of I'm good? I'm full, don't serve me anymore. Now if you don't know this Lakshana, it happened to me. First time when I came here, I was serving something. This person said, I'm good. I thought he's saying, I'm good, serve me more. So I took and put more. But what is the meaning of good there? You let go of good and you say, you bring the word full. You are not using that full in the statement, but you are bringing it through Lakshana. Now, classical example is there. 159 you see. Atra Gangayam Ghosha. In olden days, they used to have migrating groups, cowherd boys, they would go. And there would be like around 600,000 cows, in one group, they would go together. And all these cows, they would live in the village or the city. So these people had to have their settlements outside the city because so many cows are there. So, and it's a mobile home, migrating home. So they would make their settlements outside the city on the banks of the river. In Bhagavatam, if you read Nanda Babaji and all, many times they are on the banks of the river. That is their way of living. They can go from one place to another, take care of all the cows and also their family from that river water. Now, if somebody asks, where are those cowherd, boys living? The statement is, Gangayam Ghosha. They are living in Gangaji. Or their settlement, the village is in Gangaji. Gangayam means in Gangaji, that village is. Now, Prativasati iti vakyavat jahat lakshana api na sangachate. Swamiji is first only declaring, you apply jahat lakshana here in Gangayam Ghosha, but you cannot apply jahat lakshana in Tattvamasi Mahavakya. In Tattvamasi you cannot apply, but here you can apply. How can you apply? Now you let go of Ganga Shabda completely. You let go of Ganga Shabda completely. Jahat Lakshana, 3 things should be there, right? First is, one word you should let go of completely. Tyaga should happen of that word. Now you have brought in Tira. Banks you have brought. And that bank word was not used in that statement. The villages, instead of saying in Gangaji, you say villages on the banks. Now bank has to be Sambandhi of Gangaji only. We cannot bring Yamuna Tira. You cannot bring some other Tira. Both are holy. Right? You cannot say they are living somewhere else. It has to be Sambandhi of Gangaji. Now he says, over here, Jahat Lakshana you cannot apply in Tattvamasi. Okay, let us see what is the thing. Tatratu Ganga Ghosha Yoho Adhara Adheya Bhava Lakshanasya Vakyarthasya Asheshatah Viruddhatvat Vakyartham Asheshatah Parityajya Tat Sambandhi Tira Lakshanayaha Yuktatvat Jahallakshana Sangachate. Tatratu, in the case of Gangayam Ghosha, if you say the village is on Gangaji, or the village is in Gangaji, if you say that statement, Gangayam Ghoshayoho, Adhara Adheya Bhava Lakshanasya Vakyartasya Asheshaha Viruddhatvat Vakyartham. You cannot directly apply this statement, or you cannot figure out the meaning of this statement directly. Asheshata Parityajya, you are completely leaving out that Viruddhamsha. What is the Viruddhamsha here? The word Ganga. How can village be in Gangaji? So because this Viruddhamsha is coming up, you let go of that Viruddhamsha completely, Parityajya. Tat Sambandhi Tira Lakshanaya. Take Sambandhi of Gangaji, which is the banks. This can work over here. Yuktatvat Jahallakshana Sangachate. So in the case of Gangayam Ghosha, you can apply Jahat Lakshana. It's just elaborating how Jahat Lakshana can work in Gangayam Ghosha. Now when you come to Tattvam Asi Mahavakya, Swamiji said, Jahat Lakshana na Sangachate. You cannot apply Jahat Lakshana. Why we cannot apply? 161. Atratu Paroksha Aparoksha Chaitanya Ekatva Lakshanasya Vakyarthasya Bhagamatre Virodhat Bhagantaram Api Parityajya Anya Lakshanayaha Ayuktatvat Jahallakshana na Sangachate. He says in Tattvamasi Mahavakya, we cannot apply Jahat Lakshana. What is the problem? He says first problem is there is no complete Virodha between Tat and Tvam. So in Jahat Lakshana, what do we have to do? We have to completely let go of one thing. So what is the Aviruddhamsha? In what aspect there is no contradiction? We say there is no contradiction as far as consciousness is concerned. Contradiction comes only with conditionings, Paroksha and Aparoksha conditioning. So in Jahat Lakshana, you have to let go of the conditioning and consciousness also. Even if you take out Tat or Tvam, he says you have to let go of that Aviruddha Amsha also. That's why Jahat Lakshana cannot work. What do they say? There is a phrase, right? Don't let go of the baby with bath water. Right? So Aviruddha Amsha is that soap or bath water, whatever is there. We don't have to let go of Chaitanya also. So over here, he says Jahat Lakshana will not work. That is one reason. Second reason why Jahat Lakshana will not work is, even let us say you are able to let go of one pada, whose sambandhi are you going to bring? If you say, I will bring Tat Pada Sambandhi. Sambandhi means something which is related to that. Now in Tat Pada, entire creation is included. Starting from Ajnanam, then came Sukshma, Samashti, then came Sthula, Samashti Sthula Sharira. The cosmic, causal, subtle and gross body is included in the word Tat. 14 worlds are included in the word Tat. Now which Sambandhi will we bring to replace the word Tat? Same with Tvam also, because in that whole statement, Tat Tvam Asi, entire creation is included. If you say I will bring Sambandhi of Tvam, it says Tvam is already there in that statement. I mean Sambandhi of Tvam, if you say I'll bring Tat, something from Tat, we say Tat is already there in that statement. Jahat Lakshana criteria is whatever you are bringing should not be in that statement. So this is Jahat Lakshana not working in Tattvamasi Mahavakya. Now you see the same statement. Atratu Paroksha Aparoksha Chaitanya. That Chaitanya which is conditioned by Paroksha and Aparoksha, Ekatva Lakshanasya, Vakyarthasya. of that literal meaning. Bhagamatre virodhat. See, now we are trying to switch from vakyartha to lakshyartha. Swamiji is saying in vakyartha, when you say tat and tvam, one is paroksha vishishta and second is aparoksha vishishta. Between them, there is only bhagamatra virodha. There is no complete virodha. Only in part there is virodha. Bhagamatre virodhat. Bhagantaram api parityajya anya lakshanayaha ayuktatvat. If you let go of everything, the aviruddha amsha also if you let go of, this is that is not appropriate. And anya lakshanayaha ayuktatvat. You cannot find any other sambandhi also of this tat and tvam. Jahat lakshana na sangachate. Was this okay? Could you follow along this one online? Yes? Okay. Now the student is sitting. There are some students who are very keenly listening. But he is listening so that he can point out some kind of other options. He says, what if this can work in this way? Why do you say Jahat Lakshana cannot work? He says, I will make it work. Okay. But very nice thought he is bringing. You see what he is saying. 162. Nacha Ganga Padam Swartha Parityagena Tira Padartham Yatha Lakshayati Tatha Tat Padam Tvam Padam Va Swartha Parityagena Tvam Padartham Tat Padartham Va Lakshayatu Ataha Kutaha Jahallakshana na sangachate iti vachyam. So you can put one quote after nacha. Put one quote up because that's something that the student is saying. You see the first line, nacha ganga padam, right? After nacha, you can put one quote. And then before iti vachyam, the last two words which are there, you can end the quotes there. Before iti vachyam, you can end it. So whatever is in between the quotes, that is said by the student. Whatever is outside, that is said by the teacher. Okay, teacher only says iti nacha vachyam. Don't say this. What I should not say, everything the student is saying. Now before we go into the words, you see what he is saying there. Oh teacher, why can't we apply Jahat Lakshana? You pay attention here, huh? You can read later. Okay, why can't you apply Jahat Lakshana? He says, okay, what was the criteria? I have to let go and I have to find something, right? And you said you cannot find something outside. Why can't I find something within that statement itself? Meaning what he says is, how many words are there? Tat Tvam Asi. 3 words are there, right? What if Tvam can do Tyaga of itself completely and indicate Tat? Tvam did Tyaga of itself and indicated Tat. Means what will that statement look like? Tat Tat Asi. Tat Tat Asi. Only Bhagwan is there, only Bhagwan is there, only Bhagwan is there. Or he says, let us apply Jahat Lakshana to Tat. Tat is letting go of itself completely, along with consciousness, everything, and indicating only Tvam. Now what will that statement be? Tvam Tvam Asi. Means whatever is the Lakshana of Tat, he says that it has given up and it is now indicating that Tvam. But Tvam Chaitanya only you can say. So in Tattvamasi, Jahat Lakshana you only apply to Tat or you only apply to Tvam, and then you can make sense of this statement. You see, this process itself is one darshana of letting go of conditionings or letting go of one pada completely. It will become one form of bhakti darshana, where the sadhaka says, Bhagwan, I am nobody. He doesn't do this analysis. I am consciousness, conditioning, conditioned consciousness. He says, Bhagwan, I am nobody. Only you are there. One thing to appreciate is tyaga done to any extent. Tyaga done to any extent benefits the sadhaka. Vedanta is showing us what is the final tyaga. But these are all different ways people have thought about. And tyaga done to any extent, like we saw previously also, right? If we let go of nishiddhacharanam, that tyaga also benefits us. But here they are talking about very subtle tyaga. So this one in particular, he says, if I let go of my conditionings, or if I let go of myself completely, what is there is only Bhagavan. Now another is, you keep jiva's conditioning as it is, but you let go of tatpada conditionings and let go of that Chaitanya also. You say there is only Tvapada. Because remember, in Jahat Lakshana, you cannot do part tyaga. You have to do complete tyaga. Right? So that is called as ahangrahopasana, where the sadhaka invokes the totality in himself. For example, in Ishavasya Upanishad, the last few mantras which are there, Pushanne Karshe Yama Surya Prajapatya Vyuha Rashmin Samuha Tejah. The sadhaka is praying to the sun god that you are the supreme most truth. Please withdraw your rays so that I can see you. Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam Tatte Pashyami Yosavasau Purusha Soham Asmi. That Kalyanatama Rupa I want to see. And final statement is Yosavasau Purusha Saha Aham Asmi. That Purusha I am. He is not removing himself. He is removing all conditionings from Tatpada, removing entire thing from Tatpada, Jahallakshana. And he says, I am that Brahma. But remember, that is Upasana Vakya. Upasana Vakya. The more one can do it, the purer this individual becomes. Imagine, we do puja, right, outside. How clean we keep the place. Everything is kept as though Bhagwan is, not why as though. Bhagwan is coming there and he is going to stay. And, during that time, we keep that kind of purity. If one has to invoke the Lord in Aham, this sadhaka maintains that type of purity in Aham. One who is doing this upasana will do that kind of sadhana. And remember, imagine the Aham, what kind of purity it will be left with if it can invoke Tat in that Tvam. And the other one is letting go of Tvam completely and saying there is only Tat. You see, any of Mirabai's bhajan, you will find that bhava. That I am nobody, Bhagwan, you alone are there. Kabir Dashi also has written it, Prema Gali Ati Sankari. The path of devotion is very narrow. Jame dona samay. Two people cannot walk. Either I am there or the Lord is there. Jab hari tha, tab main nahi. I found another version of it. It had a different, twist to the words. It said, Jab hari tha, tab main nahi. Jab mein hari hai, tab main nahi. Jab mein hari hai means in me when there is hari, at that point I am not there. That is another way to look at it. But simple meaning of that is, these are two darshanas, two different schools of thoughts. Now, what is the limitation over here? Swamiji is going to say, there are 3 criteria for Jahat Lakshana. You accomplished the first one. You did Tyaga. You did Tyaga of Tvam Pada. And second is Tat Sambandhi also you brought. You said Tat Sambandhi, Tat Pada I will bring. But what was the third criteria? It should not be in the sentence. He says Tat Pada is already in the statement. You don't have to bring it again in that statement, Tat Tvam Asi. Okay, in this way, he is going to answer that student. Now, you see the literal meaning, it's the same thing. Between the quotes now, leave aside what is outside the quotes. Ganga padam swartha parityagena tira padartham yatha laksheti. Just like Ganga Shabda let go of itself completely and indicated the banks, in the same way, Tat padam swartha parityagena va tvam padam lakshayatu. That is how you have to read this. Let Tat pada do parityaga of itself first and indicate Tvam pada. Or let Tvam pada do parityaga of itself and indicate Tat pada. Right? How we saw 2 options. Let go of Tvam completely, let it indicate Tat. Or let go of Tat completely, let it indicate Tvam. Or Tvam padartham Tat padartham va lakshetu atah kutah Jahallakshana na sangachate. How do you say that Jahat Lakshana cannot work? Teacher says, iti na vachyam. Why you should not say this? 163. I'll read it directly. Tatra tira pada ashravanena. In Gangayam Ghosha statement, the bank word was not mentioned in the statement. Ashravanena means you did not hear that in the statement. Another word of ashravana is anukta. It was not said in that statement. Tadartha apratitav. That is why you could not make sense of that statement. Because that word was not used. That is why you needed Lakshana. Jahat Lakshana you needed. Tadartha apratitav Lakshanaya tat pratiti apekshayam. To understand the meaning of that sentence, you needed this Lakshana called as Jahat Lakshana. You had to bring something which is related. And it is not said in that statement. But here, Tattvam Padayoho Shruyamanatvena. Because in this Tattvam Pada, both of them are heard. Tat Pada is also there in the statement, Tvam Pada is also there in the statement. So when you are bringing something, you cannot bring the same thing back. Shruyamanatvena tadartha pratitav lakshanaya punaha anyatara padena anyatara padartha pratitihi apeksha abhavat. Previously also we had seen there is no sambandhi also. If you have to bring some other sambandhi, right? But over here, he says, I will let go of one thing and indicate the other thing. So Swamiji has said mainly over here, there is no need to do that. Because one is that other sambandhi should have been unheard in that statement. In your Tattvamasi Mahavakya, that both the words you are trying to bring are already there. So why do you have to bring another sambandhi? Okay. Now comes another Lakshana. First one did not work now. There are 3 Lakshanas, right? First one is Jahat Lakshana. That did not work. So we go to the second Lakshana, called as Ajahat Lakshana. Now, Ajahat Lakshana, go by the word only. Jahat means to let go of. Ha dhatu was there. Ajahat would be not to let go of. You don't have to let go of anything. You just have to add something to make sense of that statement. Okay. Classical examples will come to later, but we can see things which we see in our colloquial transactions, colloquial vocabulary also. Whenever somebody comes home and they say, you ask them, do you want to stay back for lunch? Atiti Devo Bhava, one should ask. Do you want to stay back for lunch? No, they say, no, we want to go home. Now you ask them to stay back, or you really want them to stay back. What do you say? In Hindi they say, "Do grass kha ke jaiye." Means eat 2 morsels, at least 2 morsels. Now, do grass kha ke jaiye, it doesn't mean that after 2 you will stop giving. Or that person will get up after 2. Means what you eat 2 also, you eat much more. Eat as much as you want. There is plenty. So you're not letting go of anything from that statement, but you're adding something more. Sometimes when people, they will text you, where are you? They'll say 5 minutes. 5 minutes means you have to add 5 minutes it takes to park and come inside. This person is 15 minutes away, whatever the time duration is. Or they'll say, I'm on Story Road. Story Road means you have to add 15 minutes, it will take whatever time they give. Means you are not letting go of that statement any part, you are adding something on top of it. Another classical example is, there was a small boy, and his mother, in olden days, they would make so many things. Papad they would make, or milk, they would put that culture and then keep it outside. If it has not become hard, little bit of heat is needed, so they would keep it on top sometimes. So his mother came and said, please save this yogurt from the crow, because that crow will come and it will go inside. So please save this yogurt from the crow. Now, mother went away, came back after 2 hours. This boy was playing, doing something there. And she finds this yogurt upside down. He said, didn't I tell you to take care of this? He says, a dog came and it put it upside down. I said, then why didn't you stop it? He said, you only told me, save the yogurt from the crow. Kakebhyah dadi rakshaya. This is example for Ajahat Lakshana. Kakebhyah means from the crow, save the yogurt. Means what? You have to add everything else. Whatever other things are unsaid, relevant things, that has to be added. Then you can make sense of that statement. Okay. Now, classical example of Ajahat Lakshana is given in 164. Race course example is there. Atra shono dhavati iti vakyavate Ajahallakshana api na sambhavati. There was a horse race, going on. And the people there were discussing, who is winning? He said, red is winning. Who is winning? He said, red is winning. He said, who is running there? He said, red is running. So that statement itself will bring a lot of questions. Red cannot run. What do you mean by red is running? So without letting go of red, we add the word red horse is running. Jahat Lakshana, we let go of one word completely. Ajahat Lakshana, we keep whatever is there and we add something more to it. Atra shono dhavati iti vakyavat Ajahat Lakshana api na sambhavati. Swamiji is very, very clear in his communication. He says, first you listen why I am describing Ajahat Lakshana. He says, like shono dhavati. Shona means red. Red is running. Like this statement, Tat Tvam Asi Mahavakya, you cannot apply Ajahat Lakshana. You cannot apply Ajahat Lakshana. It will not work in Tat Tvam Asi Mahavakya. Why it will not work? That he would explain later. Tatra Shona Guna Gamana Lakshanasya Vakyarthasya Viruddhatvat Tat Aparityagena Tad Ashraya Ashwadi Lakshanaya Tat Virodha Parihara Sambhavat Ajahallakshana Sambhavati. In the case of Shono Dhavati, in the case of red is running, Tatra Shona Guna Gamana Lakshanasya Vakyarthasya Viruddhatvat. If you just take red color, Vakyartha will not give the meaning. There is Viruddha or there is Virodha. But how can red, which is a guna, how can it run? Now you don't have to let go of that red. Tat aparityagena. Without letting go of that red, tad ashraya ashwadi lakshanaya. The ashraya, the substratum of that red color, which is the horse, tad virodha parihara sambhavat. If you just bring that, tad ashraya ashwadi lakshanaya, if you just bring that, then virodha parihara is done. You can make sense of that statement. Sambhavat, Ajahallakshana sambhavati. Ajahat lakshana can work when it comes to Shonodhavati, not Tattvam Asi. Okay, and also not the previous one. Gangayam Gosha was an example was for Jahat Lakshana. Ajahat Lakshana was Shonodhavati. And don't make this only a technical analysis, and just appreciate also how in colloquial terms we use it. Time and again we keep using it. We just don't put it like this technically. I knew somebody whose son was into medical school, and she would send updates in between how family is doing. So her sentences would end like this: my son, he did well in his kidneys, he's stressed about his heart. And first time I read what, I didn't figure out what is she trying to say. Then you have to add the word exam. That yesterday my son did well in exam which was on kidneys, and now he is stressed out about the other exam which is coming. But we just make these assumptions and we go forward. But here when it comes to Tattvam Asi Mahavakya, all of that will help. And each assumption will bring out a darshana. Right? How we saw in the previous one, let go from one side, from another side, like that. Okay. Next one is going to say how Ajahat Lakshana will not work for Tattvam Asi. It is said this is the most favorite Lakshana for people. For sadhaka, this is the favorite Lakshana. Why? Because you don't have to do tyaga of anything. You add whatever you want to add, we say we are okay. But Jahat Lakshana and the one which is going to come later, that is going to say you have to let go of something. In general, sadhaka feels adding is not a problem. I am already having one role, you add more roles to it. But the moment you say you have to let go, so the first thing they let go is of the teaching itself. Vairagya towards vairagya, tyaga of tyaga, double tyaga. It's a little longer one. We'll see in the next session. The quiz is still up on 25th. 24th is our Diwali Puja. So I hope all of you will be here. And Thanksgiving camp also is coming up. We are doing Manisha Panchakam. Vedanta in a nutshell. It will be in Krishnalaya. More details are on the website. Manisha Panchakam, if you have studied Vedanta Saar elaborately, it's a great, precise way of looking at it in a nutshell. That is the beauty of Manisha Panchakam. Entire 300 verses that will be summarized in 5 verses. On the other hand, Mahavakya Vichara, what we are seeing now, right? There are 5 verses in Manisha Panchakam, 4 verses, each one is one Mahavakya. But it is presented in such a way that we will be very, it gives a new perspective. We'll be so surprised that Vedanta Sara had so much of technicality. How could Shankaracharya ji again present it in such a simple way? Mahavakya, without actually telling also that this is Mahavakya. It's a nice, beautiful text that we will reflect upon. Hope all of you are able to come. We have one more announcement about our Rudram chanting. Maybe Maheshi, you can do it now. Let us do the concluding prayer and then you can start after that. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.